Content warning, there are references to incest and nonces in this video for obvious reasons. I don't go into much detail about those subjects, but they are mentioned if that bothers you. If that's going to bother you, then you should click onto another video.
It's pronounced artifices, but, to be fair to myself, I knew that. I just chose to ignore it.
Not to romanticize smoking or anything, but I did have to take one before making this video because we're ranking the Shadowhunters characters, and they are nightmares, so I would not be able to go through this without some type of help. And look, yeah, smoking isn't cool. I have like one a day at most, but I think it is important to mention this in case I go fucking wild and you don't understand why. Me and Cassandra Clare have a very complicated relationship. Love her really. Don't love the incest. Don't love. You know what? I don't love a whole lot of it, but I will buy all of her books and read them all and probably make it everyone's problem by talking to everyone I know about them. So, essentially, what I am saying is this is a very difficult day for me, and if you disagree with me, that is completely fine, because these are very passionate opinions, and I want to get into a fight every time I talk about Shadowhunters. You know what? I'm gonna do the last hour's cast last, because I know a lot of people probably haven't finished it yet, and this will contain spoilers, just so you know. Unfortunately, I think I have the strongest opinions about the last hour's cast, partly because I've just read it, but also because I feel like the series get better as they go along. Not necessarily book by book, but definitely trilogy by trilogy.
Trilogy. Trilogy. Trilogy. Trilogy.
Let's start with Alec. I'm gonna spend most of this video saying who the fuck is that, because these images are not how they appeared in my head. In my head, they're little vague outlines with personality traits that I don't like, because that's how I focus on characters. He's probably the first gay character I've seen in my life, so that's pretty much the only thing I know about him. I'm gonna have to put him in mid though, maybe even vaguely bad, because, listen, love representation in the early 2000s. When I say representation, I don't mean good representation. He's a drowned rat man. He has very few important personality traits. He doesn't play a huge role in any series apart from what you even call the little mini series of Alec and Magnus. It's the eldest curses. I didn't know that. I'm not a liar. It's not that important. There's no stakes to it because we already know what happens in the long run. That's pretty much the only place he's important, but even then, I just do not care about him. So, vaguely bad. It's Aline. I think it's Aline.
Aline.
I'm gonna put her in vaguely good. She does not do much in the series whatsoever. Do love her though. Arthur Blackthorne. I do not care because was he even in it that much? I swear he wasn't. He's like not important. He's just there to show how much better Julian is than him. We love how many characters in the Shadowhunters universe are only there to like make a point about how the other characters are either better than them or to further the story of the main two characters, who are usually my least favorite. Ash, we still don't know much about Ash yet, so even though I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hate him, I have to put him in mid, because I think he'll be interesting. I think I will hate him. And that's all I can really say, because we are not going to get the Wicked Powers for another 75 years. I will be 30 by the time it comes out. I swear a lot of us started reading the Shadowhunters books when we were, like, young children and are now adults, or at least older teenagers. But the Wicked Powers is, if that's not coming out for a long time. So if you started reading these books in the early 2000s, and you're still reading them by the time it comes out, I salute you. Because me too. Do I even like these books that much? Objectively, no, but I am going to read them all. Anyway, Camilla's definitely a girl boss, but definitely not in girl boss tier. She doesn't do much. She's like, she plays a part, which is more than we can say for most of the female characters Cassie writes, but even then, I'm gonna have to put her in vaguely good. Even if you don't like her morals and such, she is definitely interesting to read about as far as side characters go. Katarina, also gonna put in vaguely good. I haven't actually read the Bane Chronicles. I've only read half of it, I think. It's the only book I haven't finished. It's not that interesting to me, but she is great in that. Cecily, I'm going to put in very good, even though she is only in the last book of The Infernal Devices. She is my favourite. Only one book, and she's already the best character, in my opinion. Like, good for her. Not in girl boss tier, though, because I don't love her that much. And Charlotte, definitely a girl boss, but I'm going to put her in good tier. She's not that interesting to me. I didn't like The Infernal Devices that much in general. Okay, Chairman Meow. Chairman Meow is also a girl boss, but does Chairman Meow actually play a role in the series? No, he's just there for like the lols, but you know what? Vaguely good at least. Oh my god, okay, Clary. Did you participate in incest? Yes, you did, ma'am. Did I like you in the Mortal Instruments? No, ma'am, but in Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy, I did like her. I feel like she's better in the books that she isn't the main character in. And you know what? She's an artist. She likes anime. She has red hair, you know. She's the original, not like other girls' main character, okay? So so we have to put her in. I'm gonna put her in vaguely good, actually. I used to really, really hate her, but the more I think about it, I'm like, am I really judging this 15-year-old girl that much? Church as well, we're gonna put in vaguely good, because they're both... if I'm honest, I probably couldn't tell you the difference between the two cats in the series. I just think they're both epic. Christina, oh god. I like her scenes with Emma, I do, but other than that, she's only there to be part of a love triangle. She's kind, sure, but like, can you call someone a good character if their only good character trait is nice? I'm gonna put her in vaguely bad along with Alec. Diana, love her, once again, didn't do much, but still, still love her. I'm gonna put her in vaguely good as well. These are all like, I thought I had so much stronger opinions about these characters, but as time's gone on, I'm just like, you know what? There are worse things to be than written by Cassandra Clare. Emma, okay, very good. She's strong, she's confident, she's funny, she makes a difference. I do love her. Henry, I'm gonna put Henry in good tier, okay? Henry walked so Christopher could run. He and Charlotte literally having drama about the fact that they didn't know whether they loved each other. That is that is trademark Cassandra Clare behavior, making her characters have absolutely no conflict apart from someone didn't quite tell the truth or omitted some of the truth, and it makes a whole plot out of it because they need Eustace drama. It's great. They are the original Cassandra Clare stereotype. They are great. Jessamine, oh my gosh, right, okay. Jessamine gets very good. She did nothing. Was she misogynist? Yeah. She was offensive. Love that for her. God forbid women do anything, okay? She had to die because she was too much of a girl boss. She makes a great ghost. I think this is Cameron from The Dark Artificers, and was he the nonce? I'm gonna put him in almost as bad as the incest because he is a nonce. Did he know he was a nonce? I don't think so, but you know what? He is, and I can't look past that. What was his point? Like, they were hinting so much at him being evil, and then he just did nothing. I'm guessing we're gonna find out in the Wicked Powers, but until then, I don't know. Isabel, yes, okay. Isabel is the first girl boss. You know why? Back in the early 2000s, you had Mean Girls. You had all of those rom-coms with the, like, ultra-feminine, stereotypical mean girl who had great fashion. Kind of horrible to everyone, but in kind of a fun and quirky way. The footage I had for this section was approaching unusable. I was basically just trying to explain that Isabel's a girl boss because she reminds me of a mean girl, and that's it. George actually shitting, pissing, coming, and throwing up. I actually, you know what? This is the saddest thing that's ever happened to anyone, so I'm going to put him in very good. Did he only exist in one book? Yes, but he made a statement, okay? He was just a nice young man. He gave Simon a great storyline as well by dying. Usually I'm like, okay, don't kill off a character just for shock value, but Simon did actually mourn him, and usually when someone dies, they mourn for like 2 seconds, but it's only so that the main characters can have sex because they're grieving so hard. So the fact that nobody had sex after he died because they were so upset about it shows there is hope. Helen, okay. Good. She is not in it very much. She's mostly there for... Because Cassandra Clare was like, okay, I don't have any lesbians, so I'm going to make a sapphic relationship, and they're not going to play a big part in it, but they are going to be there, so that people will be like, oh look, there's a sapphic relationship. Is it great representation? No, but it was like the only representation we had for a long time, especially in the mainstream media, so I'm glad that she at least tries and that she has put something in there at all. Yeah, I do like Helen's personality though. Okay, maybe I'm just a dumbass, but I don't know why Celine's on here. I don't feel like she's an important enough character to be on here. Like, I do not remember a thing about her, so I'm gonna have to put her in IDK because who even is it? I know she's a Herondale. I know she exists. I have heard of her before, but what does she do? Hold on. What, Jace's mother? Celine was basically just there in flashbacks after being like in a cult for a bit and such. Like, kind of girl boss behavior, but the fact that I barely know who she is probably shows that I do not care that much. Oh my god, Simon's stoner friends. Mid? They're all up, but do they even do anything? I swear they're just like himbos. I do not remember. But I don't hate them. I have absolutely zero thoughts about them whatsoever, so I'm gonna put them in mid. Gabriel. Alright, listen. The fact that I didn't like the Infernal Devices that much will probably tell you why. I don't even remember which one's which. I'm pretty sure Gabriel's the little bitch one who likes Sophie, and then Gideon's the... Well, actually, Gideon's the cool one, right? He's the one that married Cecily, I believe. I did like him, and his friendship with Will is pretty good, so I'm going to put him in good tier. Gabriel, I'm going to put in mid. I do not care about him. He was just standing there. He's nice and all, but whatever. Jocelyn, do I care? Put her in mid. Actually, she's great. She isn't in it much because Shadowhunter parents aren't in it much unless they were the original main characters in another book, like Will and Tessa. I'm doing these in such a stupid order. Oh my god. Okay. Julian, I'm gonna put in almost as bad as the incest. You know why? Look, I appreciate his attempts at being a father. I do. He stepped up as a brother, and it was great. But I do not like him. He is creepy. Do I think it's good character writing? Kinda. Because I think he had so little to hold on to in his life that he just made his whole life revolve around his love for Emma. But it ended up creepy, which I guess is kind of... that kind of makes sense. I just... doesn't mean I like it. I put him in almost as bad as the incest. Because do you remember that scene? The scene... But I believe they're in, like, the fairy forest or whatever. And Emma's talking about her dead parents. And Julian is like, oh my god, I want to fuck Emma. Like, there are other things to think about. And I don't like their relationship. I think the main character relationships are always forced. I guess it makes sense because people like reading romance, and that's fine. The premise of childhood friends to lovers is pretty decent to me. I just don't think it was done that well. If anything, I thought they were more like siblings, which is a bit weird, but, you know, Cassandra loves incest. Jace, Herondale, Lightwood, Wayland, I don't know. I'm gonna put him in... I'm also gonna put him in almost as bad as the incest, or maybe shit. I'm gonna put him in shit. I don't think Jace has any redeeming qualities, but there were more scenes where I could ignore him than with Julian. You go inside Julian's head and you want to strangle him. You go inside Jace's head and you want to strangle him. But there is some times where you forget you're in his head, so it's fine. Jem has the personality of wet cardboard, wet sock, wet mattress, basically anything that shouldn't be wet, that's his personality. Do I like his scenes because he has a good friendship with Will? Kinda, but I don't think he's that good, so I'm gonna put him in mid. I don't dislike him, he's just kind of there. I don't know who any of these people are. Oh my god, the images are so strange. Oh. I can't believe I thought that Cameron Ashdown was the nonce. No, Cameron's vaguely bad. I don't remember shit about him. I know he was Emma's boyfriend, and that's all I remember. No, the nonce was Jaime, I believe. Kieran. Okay, I was invested for a bit. I'm going to put him in either good or very good. He was just such a martyr. He was pathetic. I love him. He made a few mistakes, but I don't care, to be honest. He was redeemable. I think there are characters who have done a lot worse, but because they were, like, the hot character or the main character or the character everyone liked, then they were just forgiven immediately. Yeah, I'm going to put Kieran at the top end of good. Kit. Kit is girl boss. I'm sorry, but I am so excited for the Wicked Powers. He is going to be fun. What a loser. These children just running around, raising the dead, trying to... What was he even doing? He was just getting upset that the Shadowhunters weren't very progressive, which, me too, man. Nah, I cannot wait to see how his story goes. I hope he doesn't go to shit like James did, because I remember in the Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy, he was like the shy, bookish type, and then turned into the average Cassandra Clare fan service man. And, I hope they don't do that to Kit, because as it stands, I think he's girl boss. Livy, oh wow, good. I mean, was she only there to have the shock factor death? Absolutely, that is why she exists. But that doesn't mean I dislike her in any way. I do love her relationship with her brother and with Kit. I think they had a great little friendship group, and it is a death that is actually sad because she's a good character, even though she wasn't that developed. Maya, vaguely good. She was in the Mortal Instruments, so she was made in the early 2000s as a female character and therefore only existed to have love interests. She was basically there to be part of Simon's love triangle. And it's a shame, because I think she could have been a great character. I'm glad she did at least get some, like, relationships, and she did have a role in the story a little bit, but she was done pretty dirty. I don't even know who this is. I'm gonna put 9K. I actually don't know who that is. Isn't this Kit's dad? Why do they make him look like he's about to approach you and say, "Hey baby, I've got a proposition for you. I can make you a star." Like, he does not look safe. I'm going to put him in mid. I actually found him quite entertaining, but what did he even do? Oh my god, pickles. With all the animals, I want to put them all in girl boss because I think they're great, but yeah, I'm going to put them in vaguely good along with the cats because it's just there for like comedy value. And you know what? I have a little baby monkey brain. I do not care. I find it funny. I love pickles. Seelie Queen. Didn't the Seelie Queen like cause incest? Yeah, I'm gonna put her in mid, because you know what? She is interesting. She causes problems where there does not need to be problems, but she's not all that. She's a bit weird. Love that for her though. Max Lightwood, he dead. That's it. No, he was cute, but he is dead. And I feel like they wanted to try and flesh out the family so it wasn't all just teenagers that could be used for sexual purposes, which is very strange, I know. Making like a sex and romance series and making them all teenagers, it happens a lot in YA. But anyway, they were trying to flesh out the Lightwood family, realized that there was nothing to do with a young character, and then decided killing him off would be a good idea because it would be sad, because killing kids is sad, but not too sad that people would start reading because it's their favorite character or their ship or something, you know? Vaguely good because I don't hate the character. I just think the way that the character was used was completely pointless. Beatrice, I'm going to put in mid. I'm pretty sure she was one of those people from the Shadowhunter Academy. I cannot remember though. Either that or IDK, so yeah, I could not care less. Benedict, isn't he just the one that fucked demons and then turned into a worm? I believe that's him. I mean, that is one hell of a story. I almost want to put him in vaguely good for that, but I do not like him as a character. He was annoying. But what a story. That is fucking wild. I love that. The Dark Sisters, such cartoonish villains. I'm gonna put them in vaguely bad because I don't like them or find them interesting. Didn't one of them get beheaded and they were like, they were still just vibing? That's great. I don't remember, so I'm gonna put in IDK. Diego, oh my gosh. No, I do love Diego, actually. Literally all I can think of when I think of him is Mr. Hot and Sexy, which, absolutely brilliant stuff. I'm gonna put him in vaguely good. I don't remember if he did do something dick-headed by the end, but he was the center of some excellent jokes. He was only there for relationship drama, absolutely. No point of him being there. But I found it funny. But I do have to question, if his second name is Rosales, why is Christina's second name Rosales? Why are they dating? Are they related? There is not a series where incest isn't at least hinted at. Lady Midnight, is she even a character? I don't know. Lily, oh, okay. She's barely in it, but I do love her. Just like, when she turns up on screen, you're like, yeah, I'm glad she's here. I can only put her in vaguely good, though, because she hasn't played that much of a part in any of the series whatsoever. She's just kind of there to flirt with people, and that's absolutely fine. Jaime, okay. I am sorry I'm not doing this in any particular order. That must be really annoying. But, yeah, it's mostly because I don't know who everyone is, and I have to zoom in and, like, check, so. Luke? Really bad. He owned a bookshop, so that was pretty cool of him, but other than that, I believe this is one of those useless characters, again, so I'm gonna put in IDK. Who are these people? Drew, okay, it's hard to say, because I do like her so far, but I can only put her in vaguely good. I'm excited to see where her story goes in the Wicked Powers, because she is going to play a lead role, and apparently she is going to have an extended friend group, which is exciting, in my opinion. But yeah, in the series, she was there mostly as a supporting child character, which is never really a big role in a Cassandra Clare book. Even though, like, all the main characters are children, can we talk about the fact that people are assigning Kit and Tai top and bottom? Because, first of all, they are 15. I know they will be 18 in the series, but even then, very strange. 2, it is mostly people who are fetishizing gay men, which is strange. 3, you can't just tell what someone's sexual position is by looking at their personality. Like, people seem to think that top and bottom means submissive and dominant, and that therefore it is a personality trait. That is not how sub and dom works, and it's also completely different to the terms top and bottom. Top just means you are the giving party. Basically, it's been top equal man equal dominant. Top is the party that is male, and therefore it dominates the woman. Like, that is how people look at top and bottom. I know that is a huge tangent to go on, but it has been pissing me off. Like, please don't, like, see yourself as an ally for doing that. You have to actually look at what you are saying and see if it is actually ally behavior or if you're just being fetishizing. Edmund, I don't remember, and I don't care. Gwyn, once again, mid. What did he do? What did he do other than be a love interest? What did he do? Nothing. Hodge, wasn't he just there to, like, betray everyone? So many of these characters are just plot devices. Oh no, vaguely bad because I didn't like him either. Hypatia doesn't do a whole lot, but still pretty cool. Flirts with Anna, which I think is pretty cool, so I mean, at least vaguely good, right? I'm trying to reserve the top spots for characters who actually did something, but then I put Georgia Lovelace and Jessamine Lovelace up there, so I should just be honest about my bias. I don't know who that is. Gia, I believe. Gia Penhallow. Don't remember. There's like 6 Jonathans, and do I know the difference? I really don't know. I'm gonna put them all in almost as bad as incest, because Jonathan I think of the most is the incest one, who was also just like terrible in every way. Not only did he participate in genocide, not only did he wish for incest, but he was homophobic. I believe this is Jonathan Shadowhunter, and kind of iconic, but mid, because what did he do apart from just like create the Shadowhunters or whatever? I don't know what he did. Listen, if you expect me to remember the lore of the Shadowhunter universe, I don't know why you're lying to yourself about also knowing the lore, because you read this, I read this, we all read this for a relationship drama. Who reads this for the plot? And if you do, tell me why. Tell me why there is not another book that you could read for the plot. No offense to Cassie, because, like, love you, hun, but honestly. Jordan, okay, wasn't he just a bit of a bitch? He was Simon's friend, so I'll give him props for that. Mid, I do not care. I don't know who that is. Why are there so many Magnuses? I'm going to put one Magnus on here. And I'm going to put him in vaguely good. I am sorry. Look, I love the Magnus that is on the Mortal Instruments TV series. I think he's great. He is the reason that I got into fashion. Okay, he is great. But Book Magnus is a bit of a dick. He is iconic. And he has some pretty funny lines. Either the top of vaguely good or good. Less people get mad at me. He has a special place in my heart for being one of the only bisexuals I saw as a child. Malcolm Fade. He gives off incel energy. So I'm going to have to put him in almost as bad as incest. Mark. Okay, I loved Mark at the start of the Dark Artificers, but still only vaguely good. I started to hate him towards the end. I could not tell you why. I think he just got a bit, like, precious. And I'm glad that he exists because we finally got a poly relationship in a book series, but other than that, yeah. Loved him in the first book. Great personality, and then after that he just started to fall into general love interest personality, and that bothers me because I don't like those. Maris, okay. I only know the Maris from the series because it's been so long since I read the books and I watched the series afterwards. I'm gonna put her in vaguely bad. I feel like I didn't like her in the books or the TV show at that. I can't really remember. To be honest, I only really remember her at the wedding. Like, oh my god, why are you marrying a warlock? I'm not homophobic. I'm just racist. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's racist and homophobic actually. So I'm gonna put her in shit, even though I think she has some defining features. I believe, especially later on, like in the short stories and such. I believe she's better. I could not tell you though. Maureen, she was just turned into a vampire, wasn't she? Like, I don't really have much of an opinion on her. I have the book of all of their tarot cards, and it says, like, before she turned, she was a great kid. And I'm like, I'm sure she was. But I don't know that, so, yeah, I don't care. The blue child that was adopted by Magnus and Alec. Yeah, I love that one. Vaguely good. Still hasn't done much, but, like, good for them, good for them. Melion? Is that one of the hunters? I don't know. Michael Wayland, he was okay, right? Was he the one that was in love with Robert Lightwood for some reason? Or am I thinking of someone else? Yeah, vaguely good. I don't have anything bad to say about him apart from he wasn't in it much, which is like my main problem with most characters that aren't the main characters. But then my problem with the main characters is that they're horrible people, so what am I supposed to tell you? Axel Mortman, what a lame villain. Like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Oh my gosh, I don't care. Oh shit. Anyway, I keep ignoring the actual rankings. I'm gonna put him in shit. I yes, he commit genocide. But once again, do I hate him as much as Julian? Probably not. I'm gonna put him as almost as bad as incest because he's boring as well. And as you know, boring or annoying is worse than has committed war crimes. Fucking who? I don't know. Okay, Oscar, yes. My favourite. Like, oh, the animals, man. And Oscar actually plays a bit of a role. No spoilers, but he is in the last hours, and that is all I'll tell you. Octavian didn't really do much, but it's a child. I don't care. Vaguely good. I'm sure he'll feature more in the Wicked Powers because I don't know if you can tell, but I am placing all of my trust in the wicked powers to sort out all of my problems with the Shadowhunters universe, and it's not going to happen, but I can't prove that, and I have plenty of years to live in denial. Raphael, the child, once again, where's the blue kid? Yeah, I like them both. Like, you know what? They're children, I can't believe them. Ragnar, yes, put them along with Katarina, I think. They have a good friendship group, Katarina, Ragnar, and Magnus. Raphael, yes, my favourite sewer rat. Good or very good. Like, once again, he isn't in it all that much. This is one of the only Arrow Ace characters I know about, and that means a lot to me. And he's also just really angry for absolutely no reason. It's so funny. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Could be better, I suppose. Could be in it more. Could have, like, relationships with some of the characters, like, have an actual friendship group or whatever, but we take what we can get, and he's fucking dead, so. Don't know who that is. Raziel, pointless. I don't care. I don't know, vaguely bad, does nothing. Robert, okay. I'm gonna put him in shit. I do hate him. I do hate him. But he's kind of interesting to read about, at least. He's a horrible person, but he does go through some character development without completely becoming like a stereotypical good person that has no flaws. He still has flaws, but he does go through development, at least. I put him in shit because I don't like him, but I think he's well written. Yes, you have to wait plenty of books for him to actually go through development, but I take what I can get. Oh, Simon, one of my favorites. Okay, very good, I think. I don't think he's girl boss, but he's definitely near. I think he has a good friendship with Clary. Great that he's with Isabel. Overall, he's fun to read about. He has some of the best character development, I think, in the series, and some of the best stories, some of the best relationships. Like, him and Jace have a great relationship as well. Enemies to best friends, which is probably my favorite relationship dynamic there is. Especially when it comes out of a love triangle in this kind of thing, because where it's like trashy, I want it to be trashy, but good, you know? Yeah, love Simon. Great guy. Sophie, oh, I don't really care. Didn't do a whole lot. This is the way that the women are written. They're written to be love interests instead of characters. And to be honest, I don't really know why she was there, because it's not like Gabriel was a big character either. Put her in mid, because I don't dislike her in any way, even though she was a bit... Stephen, once again, like, I don't really remember what his story was. I think he was a dickhead, I believe, but I don't really know. I'm gonna put him in shit, because, for one, I don't remember, so he can't be memorable, but two, what I do remember, I believe he was a dickhead. Tatiana, oh my god, another incest woman. She was abusive. She liked incest. She doesn't care about her children. Yeah, I don't care about Tatiana whatsoever. I think she's horrible. Yeah, almost as bad as incest, you know, because I don't think she's even that well written either. My hatred for Julian seems so misplaced, but I can't ignore how much I hate him. I think because he's in it so much as well, I can't ignore him either, so every time I opened the book, I was like, oh my god, fuck off. Tessa, okay. Don't hurt me, but I don't like her. I think she's incredibly boring. Now, I know she's some people's favourite character, but she's not mine. I'm gonna have to put her in... shit. I just don't think she's that interesting, and like her whole personality revolves around her two boyfriends. And to be clear, by that I don't mean that it's a bad thing. I mean that she doesn't really get any relationship development with any other character that isn't Will or Jem. Like, she has whole children, and in comparison to Will, at least, she doesn't really get much screen time with her children, and literally any other character. When it comes to parenting, I can think especially with Lucy and James, you see a lot more of Will with them, and it appears that he's the only one who really saw them grow up as well, which is just kind of interesting that if Will or Jem isn't involved with Tessa's storyline, then it's not really a storyline at all. It's just a segue into another Will or Jem storyline, or just a throwaway so that she doesn't have to have scenes with anyone that isn't Will or Jem. Like, I don't get her character at all, and I think that's more just on the writing side than the actual character herself. I think she's probably fine. And do I love the poly element? I do. But other than that, she is nothing. She is also a wet sock. She is also mean though, so I like her less than Jem. These rankings probably seem really unfair, but this is just like my first opinion of them going off. Like, yeah, I don't like her. Why are there so many forgettable Herondales that I don't care about? Like, who is that? I know I've probably read about them, but I just forget, because if they're not in it for ages, like, I don't care, really. To be honest with you, short stories don't do it for me. Tiberius, yes. Okay. Girl boss. Autism rep as well, which epic. I'm really excited to see him as a main character. I hope his character doesn't go downhill. Valentine, okay. Well written, but horrible. Like, I say well written, but I mean more like well written for the time, or like in comparison to other characters. So I'll put him in shit because he's a horrible person and like racist. I think he's well written. Like, the way he's written makes you hate him, but also understand him. I think when I say well written, I usually mean they have the effect that they're supposed to have, and also aren't one-dimensional or cartoonish. They make sense in a way. I don't think he's like the best written character of all time, but I think like he's well written enough that I do understand him. Will, okay. So I'm gonna put him in good. Now, I'll tell you why. When I first went into the Infernal Devices, I hated him. I just thought he was Jace, but like in the Victorian period, and like maybe even worse. And I think his story, it like makes sense, but I think it's kind of stupid as well. Like, I know that sounds mean because he couldn't have known, but I just look at it like, wow, a bad boy with a tragic past, and I do not care. To be honest, I know he was doing everything he did for good reasons, but when I was reading that, I was just like, you're being a dick. I don't care. But as it went through and I started to understand him more, and he started to have character development, and I saw his relationships with the different characters, especially like even past the Infernal Devices into the last hours and in the short stories, I just think he's well written and his relationships are incredible, and he's so funny to read about. Yeah, love Will. I can't put him higher than that because I don't really have as much love for him as I do for other characters, but he's great. Who's that? Oh, Woolsey, right? Woolsey Scott, the weird werewolf man. Vaguely bad. I'm pretty sure he's a dickhead. Other Zachariah is just Jem. So, to be fair, I think he makes a good silent brother. So I'm gonna put him in vaguely good. I don't like hyperfixate on him or anything, but I definitely like his presence. Zara, oh my god, isn't that just that bigot girl? Oh my god. Oh, she was horrible. I don't know. Listen, I have to put her in shit. I think she's well written in that it is so easy to hate her, and I think it's like so funny to just watch the way she thinks, because it is actually how a lot of people think about real minorities. And you may be thinking, okay, but Jessamine is also like that, and you put her in very good. Yes, but she isn't extreme, and the way she thinks is actually, she lived in an extremely misogynistic society, and it was internalized for her. The more I try to justify my love for Jessamine, the more I realize I shouldn't love her that much. So I'm gonna have to put her in like good or vaguely good. I'm gonna have to put her vaguely good. Like, I love her. I think she's iconic, but the more I think about it, I'm like, she's just like a horrible person. No, like, I love her. Like, Nathaniel, what was the fucking point? Oh, I hate him. Okay, shit. He's shit. You know, almost as bad as incest. I'm sorry. What did he even do? He just annoyed everyone and then died. What was his purpose? Now we're getting into the last hour's characters, which are the ones I like the most, I believe. Please leave if you haven't read it, obviously. But we're starting off with Alistair, and first, like, immediately, girl boss tier for me. you can hate him if you want for his schoolyard bullying. You can. Like, there were people in other series that everyone loves that did a lot worse, but sure. He did some bullying, so he's horrible. But his personality is just, like, so pathetic and excellent. Hate him, love him. He was my favourite. I don't hyperfixate over characters very often, but at the time when I first read about him, I was like, wow, a Shadowhunter I like, and he's probably going to die. And he didn't. Excellent. And his relationships with the other characters, especially in Chain of Thorns, which I don't generally like that much, but but they were pretty good. And you know what? Relationship with Tom is cute and all, but I don't know, man. Anna, yes, once again, love the representation, love the character. Kind of went out of character from in Chain of Iron, but Chain of Thorns sort of came back, but still kind of annoying. Yeah, very good, I believe, or maybe good. Yeah, I love Anna. I love the concept of Anna, but as far as it goes, how she actually ended up turning out in the story, maybe not exactly what I would have wanted, but that's how it always goes. Ariadne gets a she gets a good as well. She was barely in it. She was there to be a love interest. I know. I've said it all before. However, in the third book, we saw her point of view quite a lot more, and I was like, you know what? If you want your whole life to revolve around Anna, fine by me. You do you, girl. I still love you. Your personality's still there. I love your bird. Yeah. Matthew. Very good or girl boss. How could I not call him a girl boss? Okay. So, he's probably at the bottom of girl boss because his character went downhill, and in Chain of Iron he was barely even in it. But I was actually really happy with the way his story ended, because was the love triangle completely pointless? From the start, yes. And the way it ended was probably horrible for people who enjoy that type of thing, so I feel bad for you. But as someone who doesn't care about love triangles, the way his story ended was completely fine to me. He got no love interest, which is what I wanted, because I wanted him to focus on recovery. And his main story was recovery in Shade of Thorns, which I didn't think would happen. The way that alcoholism was dealt with wasn't great, especially with Elias, but by the third book, it started to get better, and there was a lot more compassion and a lot more, like, he's not just going to get better and then be like the hot love interest again. Like, it was great. I enjoyed that they actually let him recover and be a person, and he didn't like completely recover, obviously. It wasn't just like he miraculously was better as soon as he told everyone his secrets and fell in love, because it didn't happen like that. It's just his friends were like, okay, we need to help you, and he wanted to be helped, and it was good. Yeah, love Matthew, love his personality, love his style. Yeah. Sona, oh my gosh. Not in it much, so I can only put her in good, but like she is excellent. I love Sona. I believe that's how you pronounce it, at least. I'm not great at pronunciation because most of what I see is like written down. Here's a definition of what I was talking about from the extremely credible source that is Reddit. But I love Sona, just vibing, love her. Lucy. The way I love, like, okay, I loved her in book 1. I did. She was one of my favourite characters of all time. Book 2, I was like, okay, let's just hope she's better in book 3. And then in book 3, the love didn't come back. I was just like, I basically forgot that Lucy existed. She did get better towards the like end of book 3, but by that point, it was like, I want to see more of the original Lucy. I'm kind of sad that it went on for so long of her just being like all about her love interest and not really having the same humour and kindness she used to. And she should have been friends with Grace. I'm sorry. That was such a good opportunity to have a female friendship that was like well developed. And it never happened. And I was very upset. Me and my friend always talk about how sad we are that it didn't happen. Okay, I'm going to put her in good because I put Sona in good. But yeah, I was quite upset that Lucy went downhill a bit. And by the time she was better, I'd kind of lost interest. Grace. She is girl boss. Now, before you say, but she's an abuser, yes, I am aware. Like, I do not condone what she did. She did some horrible, horrible things. but she also did some great things, and she was abused and such. Like, I'm not saying that that makes it okay, but think of it this way: if she was a male character, nobody would be upset with her. Think of Damon Salvatore. Everyone loves him. Everyone thinks he's hot. He's like the bad boy. But Grace does things that are much, much like less like bad. Okay, she does things that are redeemable eventually. Like, she is a redeemable person. He is not. But people love him because he's a hot man, and she's a woman, so she can't be forgiven. She had great development. She's a scientist, okay? She's great. Yeah, so I understand that a lot of people will hate her, and I don't blame that at all. But for me personally, I love reading about her. I love her character development. I think she's interesting, and for me that makes a good character. Not necessarily liking them, not necessarily condoning their actions, but of being a good character. Christopher, oh my gosh. Christopher, I'm going to put in very good tier. I want to put him in girl boss tier. But in the first 2 books of The Last Hours, he was barely in it. He was in it a lot in the 3rd book, but then he died for shock value. There was no reason for him to die. There was no reason that the plot wouldn't go forward if he didn't die. It was just for shock value, and the only reason he was killed off is because he didn't have a love interest. And I was hoping he'd have like a queer platonic relationship with Grace, because they both give off Arrow vibes to me, or at least their relationship definitely didn't scream romantic, but I wanted them to have like a relationship, like a good friendship or something of the sort. And I wanted them to both find happiness, but no, they just killed him off and made everything about James and Cordelia. The whole cast had their head up James's asshole, so everyone else didn't matter, and Christopher just died, and that was it. That being said, do love him. My little, like, science man who basically helped the entire plot take place, even though he was barely in it. Wish he had more development and relationships, but there's that. Charles. Okay, Charles is, like, big nonce. Like, I'm gonna have to put him in almost as bad as incest, because... And just to be clear, that tier is called that, not because incest is worse than being a nonce, it's just a joke tier name. But yeah, I forgot how many of these characters were nonces. Charles is a bad man. I think he was redeemable at one point until I realised that he was a nonce, and I was like, okay, maybe he's not. I think he's at least interesting enough to read sometimes, but he's mostly cartoonish, so it's not like that well written either. How did Henry and Charlotte have 2 children and have one of them be Charles? So sad. Eugenia, barely in it. She was barely in it, but in the like 3 lines she did have, I did enjoy her quite a great deal, so I can't put her lower than that. This tier list is so unfair. Cordelia, oh honey, vaguely good. Liked her in the first book, found her quite endearing. Second book was just her and James wanting to fuck the whole time, so I was like, I don't care. Book 3, I lost interest in her altogether. She was really mean to everyone, actually, especially to Lucy. I was like, you're really going for her insecurities, you need to stop. And by no means do I hate her, I think when you're writing so many pages with one character, you kind of start wobbling with their character a bit, and I think it could have been written better. But yeah. But she's really pretty. Jesse, okay. Vaguely bad. He was so underdeveloped. I thought he was going to be great in the first book, and then he was not by the second and third. I did enjoy his presence in the third book. He had some good relationships with many of the characters, especially James, but he did have his head up James's ass. Everyone did, but I was looking at Jesse like, why is your head so far up his ass? He was talking to his own sister and said something along the lines of, who are you to talk about how James feels, or something along those lines. Like, sorry, your sister versus your girlfriend's brother? You don't like him that much? Yeah, I just think he's like there to be Lucy's love interest, and that's kind of it. And finally, because these are all like second pictures of people who are already on there, there's like 4 Magnuses. James. Shit. I almost put him in almost as bad as incest. I don't hate him as much as Julian. James could have been like the shy love interest for once, instead of the same deeply romantic but boring and kind of bad boy personality of all the love interests. Yeah, he was not. He was boring. The whole world seemed to revolve around him. I just didn't care. And granted, like, I do feel bad for him, at least for the bracelet, but that doesn't mean I have to like him, you know? So I don't like the main character's love interests. I hope that they don't start to write Kit and Ty the same way, or whoever Drusilla's love interest will be, I hope they don't write them the same way, so that I can actually like the main romance for once. But yeah, that's my highly controversial tier list. Although, question, where is Thomas? I noticed he's not here. And for reference, I'd give him like a vaguely good because he's written the same way that female love interests are, in that they're not given any personality traits outside of their love interest. But to be fair, he was pretty funny, like a bit of a himbo, kind of dumb, but in like a lovable way. And I would also let my whole personality revolve around Alistair, to be honest with you, so I can't blame him. Yeah, so if there's anyone missing, that's not my fault. I didn't make this tier list, but thank you to the person who did, because it must have taken ages. Yeah, so tell me your top 5 characters or your top 5 least favorite characters, and or just like send me your tier list if you make one, because I'm very, very interested in other people's opinions. I know mine is very unpopular. Please do not hate me for it. I know it's kind of problematic as well, but these are characters. This is more my interest in them rather than how much I condone their behavior. As with Jessamine and Grace, I'm just like, oh yeah, like problematic women, why not? But yeah, God forbid women do anything. So yeah, thank you for listening to me ramble. I think this was one of my least favorite videos I've ever made because I was just talking out of my asshole. See ya!